In this example, we want to look and find the limit for this particular function. Now you'll notice there's going to be some issues here. We have x going to negative infinity, and then we're working with a polynomial. The first thing that we would do is normally we just punch it in and see what happens. When you punch in negative numbers in for x squared, because we're squaring them, they become positive. So, and I'm going to put this in parentheses because we're going to see this isn't going to help, but it gives us an idea of what's going on. The first part of our polynomial is going to positive infinity, right? Negative number squared, positive, and they're getting bigger and bigger. Second part of our polynomial is actually going to negative infinity because we have it to the 7th power. Any number to the 7th power, it's an odd exponent, which means we're going to retain that negative sign. So basically we have infinity plus negative infinity. Both of them are pushing at each other in this problem, and we want to figure out which one is going to win out. Normally, we would find a nice fraction when we're dealing with infinities, and we can cancel things out. Here we don't have a fraction, so our key step here is to make a fraction. And this is going to be one of those tips that is not going to be always obvious, but is definitely something that you want to do when you're dealing with something that looks like junk like this, infinities and negative infinities, and you got to somehow come to some sort of compromise. So here's what we're going to do to achieve our goal. We have an x squared in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole thing and we're going to multiply by a fraction. On the top of our fraction, we're going to have 1 over x squared. And the bottom of our fraction, we got to make it the same because we have to multiply by a fancy 1. Otherwise, this doesn't work. It's got to stay the same exact thing. And we are going to distribute that 1 over x squared on the top and leave the 1 over x squared on the bottom alone. Okay, once we do that, and this is not something that is obvious to everybody. So if this is not a trick or a tip that you've seen before, don't fret. So now we're multiplying out by 1 over x squared. We also have the 1 over x squared here. Our x squared and 1 over x squared, those are going to cancel out, and we're going to be left with a 1 there. And then some of our x's are going to cancel out there. And our second term on the numerator. And what we are left with is a 1 plus 2x to the 5th divided by 1 over x squared. Now, here's the nice thing about this. As x goes to negative infinity, this sucker on the bottom, this goes to 0 because we have that x squared in the denominator. And as that number gets bigger, 1 over a really huge number goes to 0, which tells us, because we still have our numerator has an x to the 5th, our entire limit is going to go to negative infinity. Mainly it's going to do that because of this term right here. The fact that we're adding one is negligible. And the 5th power, again, this means that we're going to have a negative sign is going to survive because we've got an odd power here, and this is just going to blow up in our faces. So the limit as x goes to negative infinity of x squared plus 2 times x to the 7th is negative infinity. Hope you learned something from this. Thanks for listening.